I feel like we've got a similar idea on this around just a real cozy space. So for me, I love blankets, I love cushions, I love weighted blankets. Give me all the blankets, clearly.
Hello and welcome to the Demystifying Child's Play podcast. I'm Ruth Vercoe and I'm joined today with my very special friend Hannah. Now, we tried to do this is probably about take 6 or 7. With the first few takes, we were together sitting on the couch and I was making a bit of a joke around how we're actually legitimately friends. We're not just people that have met online, we're doing a remote Zoom. Now we're doing a remote Zoom because we're both mums with little one, and trying to do it with a little one in the background did not quite work. So here we go. You'll be able to hear both of our lovely voices. So welcome, Hannah. Before I do my own introduction to you, would you like to introduce yourself?
Kia ora, ko Hannah, toku ingoa, ko Manaaki, taku pipi, ko Mark, not toku ingoa. Oh my goodness, sorry.
Just start from the beginning a bit.
In the beginning. Kia ora, ko Hannah, toku ingoa, ko Manaaki, taku pipi, ko Mark, toku tāne. So I'm Hannah. I've got a wee boy, Manaaki, who's about 20 months. Year and a bit, well, more than a year and a bit, and I'm married to Mark. We're living out at Rangiora with our 2 cats. That's a brief summary of our house.
And why I wanted Hannah on today was because Hannah is really good at doing self-care. We've done a lot of life together. We've done it pre-kids. We've done it through pregnancy. We were both in labour at the same time, not in the same place, but at the same time. We've learned that we're not playing Monopoly together as families again because that did not work. Our husbands will be laughing and agreeing with us. But through it all, Hannah's been through lots of life things where she's really learned how to do self-care. And with Mother's Day just around the corner, I thought it'd be quite fun to look at play schemas, but have a little bit of a change on things and looking at how we as mums can give ourselves self-care, either with kids or without kids. So Hannah, what does self-care mean to you?
So for me, as an adult, I've had the lived experience of living with a lot of anxiety and other mental health issues as an adult. So through that, I've had to learn to look after myself really well, which I think is what self-care is about. For me, what it looks like now is a lot of just checking in with myself, seeing how I'm doing, and then knowing what to do when I'm feeling different things. Just learning to be a lot more kind to myself, I think, has been a big part of self-care for me. With having had such an extensive history with anxiety, I've been privileged enough to have a lot of counselling. Humble brag, I know. But it has taught me some wonderful tools, and I feel really privileged to have a really full kitty, a really full basket of tools to draw on for myself.
And I think that is so important. If you take anything away from today, I think being able to know what it's like when you're not feeling good, being able to have those strategies and being able to put them into place is just so paramount so that you can actually do that next step. Noticing, finding some ways to do it and actually putting that self-care in. So for you, you've been on this journey of self-care, pre-kids, with kids, newborn, toddler. How has it changed from being a mum to newborn to now?
Thank you. Good question. So prior to having Manaaki, it looked like what I've seen termed as boring self-care. So for me, just with, where my mental health was at the time, it looked like counselling. It looked like going to the GP. It looked at picking my prescriptions and making sure I was taking them. It looked like forcing myself to do those silly little walks that we don't want to do, or going to yoga. And the other thing that I discovered during my mental health journey has been just a real love of creativity. So prior to having my beautiful boy, I just found so much joy, and still find so much joy, in creative endeavours. I really enjoy baking. I love anything to do with flowers. Dabbled in macrame. I've dabbled in all sorts of creative pursuits, and I find them really grounding. So with a baby, obviously it's a bit different. Probably a bit less time to do the creative endeavours, but I still really enjoy baking particularly. I try to squeeze that in. That's a priority to me over housework and many other things. I also really enjoy people. So for me, that looks like, prioritising catch-ups with people. And the other thing is books. I really enjoy reading. So I mastered the art of, while I was breastfeeding, I'd have my book position so I could read at the same time. So that's been really good. With a toddler, it's all a bit more busy. But so for me now, I think I'm pretty tired, as potentially we all can relate to at different stages. So I'm more probably focusing on the physical self-care at the moment. So moving my tinana, moving my body, trying to get a bit stronger in myself, trying to improve my sleep hygiene. Sleep hygiene sounds like I'm just washing my sheets more, but it's more about reducing your screen time around bedtime, all that kind of stuff. And yeah, just trying to find different ways to fuel my body well and just look after my body well. So yeah, as well as making time to bake and see my favourite people and do my favourite things.
That is so important, as you're saying, is you're now in all these different seasons and just being aware of what changes in these seasons, but also being aware of what really sparks you, which gives you that little bit of joy and that little bit of energy to get through to that next thing. Because parenting is hard. As you said, we are all tired in different ways, whether it's mentally, physically, just general sleep deprived. You've got all these different things going on. So we need those little bits in our life that give us that little pep, that little bit of joy where you can keep going. And I really liked what you said about not worrying about the housework. So true. Our house, the more kids you had, even with 1 kid, 2 kids, 3 kids more, just get messy. Whether it's the floors, the toys, anything, and it's always going to go. But you know what? You can always sit down with a nice bit of baking if you've baked it. So if you prioritize that, then you've got something that can fuel your body, fuel yourself, fuel your spirit as you go. So how have you felt about this change?
I think overall, it's been wonderful. Like, I've been, again, so lucky. I still feel unsure about what has done it for me. I think maybe just being a mum, I've wanted to be a mum for a really long time. And for us, it was a long journey to get there. But my mental health's been really good since having my boy. So I'm tired, but I'm really happy. So that's really good. But that being said, obviously, of course, I miss at times the time to do creative things and even just, that having time to myself. But that's where, again, I'm so lucky with my husband and my village. And when my dear husband takes Manaki on a lovely big hikoi, a big walk, and I can go, short by myself. That's really nice. So overall, for me, it's been an easier change than I anticipated. But yes, I definitely do at times miss that time to be able to really sink your teeth into a project and see it through instead of having to break it into stages.
And that's so important, you're saying, just reframing your mindset, knowing that you're in this new stage of life and something or someone you've wanted for so long is finally here. And that actually naturally means other parts of you go. And you're allowed to grieve those parts too, because it is and has been a big part. And it is something that does and did give you joy, but also knowing it will be back at some point. Or your priorities change and it doesn't need to come back. So what we're going to do now is we're going to walk through the 10 different place beamers, and with them, either Hannah or myself or both of us are going to share some fun ideas about how you can do some self-care with yourself using these place beamers as bases. So sometimes on your own, sometimes with your little ones. So now whether you're out on a walk, whether you're catching a rare moment of quiet or listening to their phone, multitasking around the house, let's dive on in and look at the 10 top place beamers and how we can do them with self-care. So as we commonly do, we'll start with trajectory. So trajectory, it's that exploring movement by throwing, dropping, pushing, and watching objects move through space. So Hannah, what would your trajectory one be?
Well, I've actually got 2, Ruth, dare I say.
Oh, okay.
My first one would be to go for a good, 'tis the season, to go for a good leaf stompy, leaf kicking autumn walk. I think there are a few things in life as satisfying as stomping through crunchy autumn leaves, kicking them, noticing the colours, noticing if you throw them, how that feels. And I think it's a joyful thing that you can do with kids or you can do without kids. And I think for me, why this is an important one is self-care is not just about things that feel nice, but it's also knowing how to express feelings that might be a bit more uncomfortable. So a good stompy walk or a good leaf kicky walk are both excellent ways to move those feelings through your body. And for me, I know I feel so much better after doing that. And it's way funner than just going on a walk. It's so much funner than that. Okay. My second one is to do with nature again, is to watch the waves fall. So going to the beach or going to the river and just watching those waves crash down, hear the sound, notice all the little shells and the stones that are getting pushed around, and just, take nice deep breaths, breathe in that beautiful, salty, crisp air. And again, just notice how you're feeling as you watch that. Often, I think for most people, just watching that water can be just so soothing and just bring you back into your body, which again, I think is such a beautiful thing to do.
I completely agree there. I absolutely love the beach. Doesn't matter what time of the year. I love taking my shoes off, whether it's freezing and whether it's kind of nearly too hot to walk on, just getting that full body sensory experience. And also whether you're at the beach, whether you're at a lake or at a river, wherever there's moving water around you, just being able to stop and reset yourself watching it, which is so important for so much of your mental health. Okay, let's go to the next one, which is transportation. So transportation involves moving objects or yourself from one place to another. So it could be filling bags, buckets, moving vehicles. So what would you start with, Hannah?
So one thing is literally transporting yourself. Hop on a bike, go for a walk, drive your car, go somewhere like the library or like a park and see what happens. For us, I find sometimes if I'm stuck at home and I'm just feeling a bit flat, sometimes it just helps so much to make myself get out of the house. I find on days where I feel a bit disconnected with my son, it helps me to connect back in with him. I think just being in a fresh environment with your kids, for me anyways, it sparks a real joy, or you notice things perhaps you don't notice at home. One of the things we like to do is go to the library and my son pushes around my pram and we fill it up with books on the way if he lets me slow down enough to do it. And yeah, it's just a really nice, easy, free outing and we both enjoy it. The second idea I had around transportation is to transport yourself in your mind, which, yes, sounds potentially a little bit left field. But the idea is we all have these beautiful places, these beautiful people that are so important to us that we can't always access. So it could be as simple as holding a photo of a beach you're at, if that's your thing, a mountain you're on top of, if that's what you're into, or just a group of people you love being with, and just looking at their faces, looking at that mountain, looking at the water, and just remembering what it felt like to be there, to be in that time. Try to notice as many things as you can about that time. For me, there's a Lake Wakatipu. My husband holidays there for a very long time, and I remember swimming there when I was pregnant, and it just felt magical. It felt so grounding. It felt so good. I felt so alive and confident and just, it just felt incredible. So sometimes I like to try bring myself back to that moment, remembering looking back at the trees as I looked from the lake back up to the hills, and just remembering the cold, crisp water and how strong I felt in that moment. For me, is a way I can transport myself to a real place of calm and confidence.
Which is such an awesome thing to think about. When Hannah and I were together today, we're actually talking about a painting that I've got on my wall. And it's a painting of one of my favorite beaches where you kind of go to the main beach and you go around a quarry and then you walk over another beach and you get this one. So now for me, it takes a plane ride and a drive and then a drive to the beach and then a walk. So it's somewhere I don't get there very often, but it's really nice having the painting in our lounge because when everything is just a lot, I can look at the beach and remember all the good summer times and all the memories, which is fantastic. I was going to add one thing for transportation as well, is filling bags, potentially op shopping or thrifting. I really enjoy that. So being able to go somewhere on your own, you get to have your bag and you get to transport it around as you're choosing things, or even if you're choosing clothes or choosing toys or anything, you're looking at physically moving them around the shop. You're doing it transporting as well. So you can have a bit of fun making things link in different little ways. Okay, let's move on to enveloping. So enveloping is covering yourself or objects with materials like blankets or wrapping paper or containers. So Hannah, how would you do enveloping?
I feel like we've got a similar idea on this around just a real cozy space. So for me, I love blankets, I love cushions, I love weighted blankets. Give me all the blankets, clearly. And for me, I like things. I like things that make me feel calm. I've got shells and clearly a nature girl. There are shells and stones and things that I love to hold in my little cozy spot. And that feels really nice for me. The other thing I do with enveloping is just try to surround myself or envelop myself with the words and with messages that I need to hear at different stages in my life. So sometimes that's looked like writing on the mirror or getting my husband to write on the mirror. It's looked like writing up quotes or putting them around, and even just really basic things like, if things are a bit tricky, this too shall pass, or if you're having a hard time with your child, my calm is contagious. What else is there? Good enough is a really good one, I think, for us mums, because I feel like we need to be doing the best we can and all that stuff. But good enough is good enough, I think, is a really just validating and calming statement to surround ourselves with. So I like the idea of being enveloped with words as well. Also, music can be really wonderful for that, just to settle and to soothe you, just having music that calms you. If you can, there's some really beautiful kids' music as well that I like playing in my house that doesn't feel irritating. It feels calming for me as well as for my son. So I think that can be another way to envelop yourself in calmness.
I absolutely love hearing about the enveloping with words. Because for me, enveloping is such a visual word. When I hear the word envelop, I hear and see the wrapping around. And so I can visualize these words of affirmation just kind of floating around your head and just sticking with you, which is so important because it's so easy to hear all the negatives and say all the negatives. But when you're speaking out, as you're saying, and reading and writing out all these enveloping kind words, it can really lift your spirit and lift the day. And we all know that if mum's a lot happier at home with the kids, the whole house is a lot happier. For me, for enveloping, I was thinking of creating a cozy little place for yourself. That might be a favorite chair, and you might have a blanket that you can wrap yourself in, favorite hot drink, say a chocolate biscuit to go with it, or just a straight piece of chocolate, maybe a whole block, depending on how the day's going. And then being able to step into your little mama den when you need a rest. And sometimes it might just be 5 minutes, and giving yourself then permission to actually stop and pause and recharge. Because sometimes you feel guilty having that special mum space, even if you've got your partner home or someone else is looking after the kids. You're feeling like, okay, I've got this time on my own. I need to be really productive and do this and this. But actually, stopping, pausing, and recharging can be the most productive thing you do in that time. Okay, we've only just got into this. And rather than it being a really long episode, what I think is we'll just divide it into 2. So you guys can all take a little air break, do something else, and then come back in. So thank you so much for joining part 1 of talking about how we can use self-care to look after ourselves through play schemas. If you want to have all these notes of what we've talked about, you can head to our website, which is playschemas.com. This is episode 24, so it'll be /024. Otherwise, head to Instagram, which is at play_schemas, which is SCHEMAS. I'll have all the links there. And as always, you can always send me a message and I'll flick things straight to you. And I would really love to hear what you're doing for your own self-care. So for today, remember today is a great day to play and an even better day for self-care. And we'll see you next time. Ka kite.